Hits de Solar One
podcast.
Hello, yo ho ho, this is episode 169 of the Solar One Sci-Fi podcast. Although it's not this week, really, it is just the Solar One podcast. As we are not actually reviewing a sci-fi film, as it's a Christmas special. I'm joined once again by my Christmas demigod, not just a demigod, but a Christmas demigod. A person who has actually had he's actually had a complaint about, from last week, which I'm going to talk to you about the way that he communicates, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But first of all, it is my co-host, Martin Fowler. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Look at him, he looks so upset. Right.
I complain.
No, it was a mutual complaint about our show last week because we talked about Doctor Who, and I'm sorry, the complainant, if that's the right term, says he doesn't like all the background audio. He says it's too noisy and just distracting. I like a bit of background. I've always done it. And what I do is every week I try to get it the right balance, right? And so we had the TARDIS. So he said, basically, I'm sick and tired of hearing the fucking TARDIS in the background. And Martin was mumbling too much last week, apparently. So this week you got to shout to not upset our my buddy Malcolm Patterson. Hello, Malcolm. Merry Christmas. So you say, hello, Martin. How are you this week?
Hello, how are you? Merry Christmas.
It's good to talk to you.
You, Malcolm, as well.
Yes, and we're going to do this whole show talking like this. Aren't we, Martin?
Yes, we are. Hang on, let me turn my hearing aid up.
No, we're going to have some jingly, sort of like jingle bells in the background. I'll keep it quiet, all right? I'll keep it quiet. So how are you?
Yeah. Tell me about the hard drive. Very impressed.
Yeah, I'm getting a new hard drive because my other one's full up. So it's going to take quite a long time to transfer. So yeah, it's pretty good.
How big is it?
18 terabytes.
That's marvellous. I bought this week. I bought a brand new 4K camcorder, top of the range.
Oh, cool!
And it's a fucker. And so it does things.
If it's 4K, then the files it generates will be huge. Then I'd imagine.
Yeah, I'm gonna. But it goes multi-visual. Like I can have my phone on, and I've got two monitors on, the big monitor on the camera.
Oh yeah.
And fucking, the clarity of it's incredible.
Are they quite expensive?
I got mine in a Black Friday. I'd rather not say on air, but I'll tell you after.
Yeah, okay.
But it's I was lucky. I got the last one in a Black Friday deal off Amazon
at a relatively good price.
And
that's good.
It was weird because when it were going through, a voucher thing came up because I forgot I'm subscribed. If I buy some of these vouchers come up, and that took another 30% off.
This is weird. With my hard drive, I was going to get a 16 terabyte. It was actually cheaper to get an 18 terabyte. It was actually cheaper to get a bigger thing. So I thought, all right, okay. So that doesn't make any sense. And it was reduced price by 43% of its actual price. So you can imagine that's a big saving. So I was delighted about that.
I saved on what I paid.
I've really done well. I can't wait.
I saved on 135 quid.
I say about that as well. Yeah, mine was similar.
If they'd gone to Curry's,
don't go there. Don't go online. I mean, well, obviously, we're just saying from experience. We're nothing against Curry's as a company.
Nothing against Curry's.
No, we're just saying that personally, we went online. Okay, Curry's, we're fine. You're great.
So I got all these like bargains, and this morning I've just ordered a Rode Shock multi-directional mic.
Oh, brilliant!
On top of it, yeah.
Oh, that's great. So, are you
extensions?
Are you going to feature? Are you going to feature some of the stuff on your YouTube channel next year then for the wood stuff?
Yeah, well, that's why I bought it. Yeah, because I want to upgrade. Yeah. I was going to get a DSLR, but I've got one.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I know, it's all right. I should be back now. It's all right. I've only reset the computer, so it should be all right today, but sometimes it's a bit temperamental. All right, so yeah.
So that's my Christmas present to my son.
Yeah, that's why I bought a present for myself as well, because mind you, I did get a new sound bar for my other TV, which is quite good. But I still, in my room, I've still got a massive old hi-fi and two wired-in speakers on both
Yeah.
ends of the room. And the thing is, those soundbars are great, but you don't get the stereo effect of
No, you
having
don't.
two physical speakers separate.
I used to have that at the back of me.
Yeah,
I remember watching a film and it was raining,
yeah. And you hear the
and it was
raindrops on
coming
both
through the
sides.
speakers.
Yeah,
Thing,
I'm into
thing
all that.
is, with the sound bar, it's all coming to you in one
It's
direction.
all right, and the bass is good, but
Yeah.
it's the stereo. It's in like when I watch like Star Wars, you see like a TIE fighter flying across from left to right, and you get the sound of it going across the room. I love all that crap. I'm really
Yeah.
nerdy about stuff like that. So now, actually, now obviously we're going to talk about our focus of the week, but I
Oh,
wanted to
go
talk
on.
to you about one thing which I shared on my channel, and I'm going to share it with you. You've probably seen it, but I want to get your reaction to this because it is interesting. This was at a live con, a Comic Con or something. I think it was the 11th of July. It was very recent, and you've probably seen it, but I'm going to share it with you again. But give me a second, so I'm not very good with this thing. Here it is, and I'm going to press play if I can find it. Where's it bloody gone? Like, it's that one. Here we go. You should be able to see this.
Yeah, I've got it. Yeah.
Right, let's give it a second to start playing, and here we go.
I watched this. I watched this. I saw this last. I was going to mention that. I forgot about it. I'm so. We watched.
Let's watch it. Let's watch it again.
I've got no volume.
Oh, you got no what? Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, so that's no good to you. All right. Oh, that's annoying. Okay. Well, anyway, basically, why have you got no volume then? That's weird. I don't know what you have. So basically, I wanted to share this and stop sharing it now because this is messed up. Stop sharing. Christopher Eccleston, basically saying they should sack all the people who are running Doctor Who. This is, of course, I think he's doing this because all of the old people involved when he was on the show have all come back. And I think that's why he was saying, sack Russell T Davies, sack Julia Gard, all their names. So I thought to myself, how did you feel about this? Do you think it was very bitter, an overreaction? What do you think about it?
Well, for years, when he left, there were rumours he wasn't getting on with them on the set.
Mm.
There were rumours, but he never said so. And then I think earlier I think it was last year, things started popping up. And this, I think this is the first time he's actually spoken out.
Mm.
And this sci-fi con we're on.
That's right.
And he spoke out. I watched it. I watched the full 45-minute thing with him.
Oh, you watched the whole thing? I did watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I was quite surprised he named people as well.
Yeah, he actually directly said 4 people who've all come back, and I thought that's a bit like, that's unusual to go that far to actually criticise people involved with it. And I think you've frozen again. There we are, you're back again. So, yeah, I just thought it was quite interesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Interesting. Is he right or wrong? I have to agree. I think he's partly right.
But he was saying in the thing, one thing that didn't make quite sense was, this bloody thing. Is it your end or my end? But it's a bit dodgy today, isn't it, the internet? He was saying that
it's your end.
Well, I've reset the computer. Portsmouth. I don't know what it is. Yeah, it's Portsmouth. Well, it always is Portsmouth, isn't it? He was saying that the success of the show went to their heads, but he quit before his first episode was shown. So, isn't that a contradiction?
You do make a good point there.
That doesn't make sense.
You do make a very good. No, it don't. But the other thing he said when they brought it back, the higher ups wouldn't go near it.
Yeah, but he left when he said, and this is what I'm saying. He said that when they realised that the show was a success, they all suddenly jumped on the bandwagon and were like self-congratulatory and saying what a wonderful success. But he left. He'd already gone by that point.
I know. But the other interesting thing, he said the higher ups upstairs, basically they thought it was going to be a one-off, and that was it.
Yeah, but that's fair enough. I mean, it could have been a complete failure. It could have
they
easily
didn't back it, did they? They put it on and thought, let's see where it goes. If it flops, we'll get rid of it. And then it came a global success, actually.
Oh yeah, it's huge. Absolutely.
And especially under Tennant. But he should have stuck. I always said he should have stuck around for the series. Now, where I agree with him on, so I don't agree everything, but so I think Russell T Davies personally has written some marvelous episodes. But I don't think back then when it started, it wasn't as political until Chibnall came in.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, obviously, Eccleston was only in for the one series.
Yeah.
Was it? I mean, we had Captain Jack, who was obviously a gay character or a bi character, whatever. So that was one aspect. And somebody said to me how I think it might be Malcolm again, and he was saying that Doctor Who has always been political. I still feel that again. I do, and we have said this before. I personally think that we are now, most of us are more sensitized to it because it's more direct now anyway, just generally in media. So we're seeing it more and reacting to it more. Whereas back in the day, it would have gone a bit more over our heads.
I watched Pertwee and the Green Death a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah, that's quite a good one, yeah.
And it's incredibly political, is that? It was all very environmental and quite.
Yeah, the Joe's.
It was political, right. And because they get these idiot government ministers in and he's berating them, and it's, there's better ways of running the planet, and he's telling them this. It's quite political. It's always been there, the message in it. So, but I think I agree with you. I think we're so sensitised to it. I think where they've gone wrong. You see, I have to say, because I do like Russell T Davies and I do like Christopher Eccleston as an actor.
Yes, me too.
And he's a bloody good actor. And I get it. Christopher Eccleston is quite left-wing.
Yeah, I think he is.
And I suppose I am. I'm sort of in the middle with it. But I think where the issues have been is that certain stories, when the politics have been put in or the message, it's gone into the background of the story. But when somewhere down the line they started lecturing us and being patronising, and I say that started with the Chibnall era more so than
Moffat.
More than Moffat, and Moffat were the star.
He had some though. He had Bill. Bill
did, but when I watching it under what's he called again? Russell T Davies.
Yeah, Russell T Davies. Yeah.
I found that he wrote a lot of this stuff within the story into the background. Like, look at Captain Jack. I like Captain Jack. I didn't care whatever way he was. He was a great character.
It was.
And I liked him. You think, I could go to the pub with it because he'd be good fun, and that would it was done right. But somewhere they sort of pushed they pushed it out of they pushed it into your face, because we've discussed this on numerous occasions.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I agree with Eccleston to a point. Whether he should, but I don't agree that he should sack these people, because it were these people originally made it a success.
So you're saying that perhaps that maybe he went a bit too far in his lashing out the other week with this convention?
No, I think he was saying it how it is. That's from it, and I have to respect that, because I do agree with
I do respect they did that as well. But
I also agree with what you said. He left before it took off.
That's what I'm saying.
Done.
Yeah. Because he was, that's what I'm saying. He's contradicting with what he said. That one of the reasons why he left was, but he said the early production in the first, they have 3 blocks per season, I think it is. He said he fell up with the actual producers right near the beginning, quite early into the show, and it was never recovered after that point. I think that's what he said.
It was them producers that turned it into a global hit.
Oh no!
Both the team. And I know Tennant came in. When Tennant came in, it went big in America.
Yeah.
And they created this into a global franchise.
Well,
So
don't forget, it's been back nearly 20 years. Next year, it would have been back 19 years. That's incredible. That's fantastic. If
it's
you pardon
made
me.
hundreds of millions in merchandise. So the four people that he called out,
Mm.
whether you agree with their politics or not, they were the four people that made this a hit.
Yeah.
The writing, they got the team together, they marketed it, and all that. And it was interesting because when they first made it, the higher ups upstairs wouldn't go near it.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I mean, it's weird to look back at it now from the perspective of the early days about how it could have actually come across. And that first episode, Rose, I loved it. I thought it was a wonderful return. I love the way it was contemporary. I love the way that like the TARDIS interior changed again, but it was modern, and it was also more of a link to the 1996 movie, which also had a change. But it also had like it still had a police box. You still had that wonderful sound, which is one of my favorite sounds in science fiction. You had humor, you had comedy, you had pacing, you also had continuity, and it just enhanced the whole show. You know, you can enjoy. I mean, you know, you get the people who only like classic, and some who only like new. I've seen every existing episode. I've seen every episode. And I don't consider, you know, some people say it's a reboot. Well, it's not. It's just a continuation. I don't like that term reboot. I get annoyed by that term.
See, when Eccleston did it, I liked him as the Doctor because he was the last of his race. He was lonely. He was just floating around the universe, and he lived massive guilt on him of the Time War. And you could tell he was damaged. And when he met her, she restored his faith in life again. She brought that to him, and I love that dynamic between them both. You know, and he was good. I always thought he should have stuck around for a second season.
Yeah, I mean, interesting to see how it would have gone if he had stuck around for a second season, and then maybe David Tennant might not have been available or chosen for the next Doctor as the 10th Doctor. I mean, that's the great thing about Doctor Who. You always wonder how it would go, and that's the risk. Whenever you get a new Doctor, you always wonder, is it going to work with a new Doctor? And they're getting a bit more bold now with recent Doctors. They had the female Doctor, now they've got this Shooty character, who, from first impressions, actually came across as quite good in his first episode. So
he's not restricted. They've got rid of regeneration thing.
Limitation.
They can have this going forever. We still don't know where he comes from.
Yeah, but I mean, they are going to. I mean, a lot of classic fans are really upset with the change to the dynamic of where he came from. I don't mind it. I think after 60 years, maybe it is a bit time to find out a bit of his background. But some people say, no, hang on, Doctor Who is supposed to be Doctor Who, and we never know. You know, that's the thing that some people are upset about.
Well, the question is he a Time Lord?
Well, he's the instigator of the Time Lords.
Well, he's one of the creators, isn't he?
That's what I'm saying. He instigated regeneration, which is a time. Yeah.
When it had an accident, they took that ability to themselves.
Yeah, and made it into their culture.
So he predate Rassilon then?
Yeah, of course he does. Yeah.
Of the Time Lord race.
Yeah, Rassilon was a Time Lord, so Rassilon would have got his Time Lord energy when this ability of his was trans. yeah, it does.
There were three of them, weren't there? We don't know who the third was, but there were three. It created there was Omega, and Rassilon, and there was the third one. We don't know the third one either.
Yeah, I don't know the third one.
The Doctor. They've always said it was the Doctor. So is the Doctor the creator of the Time Lord race?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's actually giving you new questions. We've still got lots of who is he? It's just, you know what I mean. So I still think Chibnall. I don't mind what he did. A lot of people are upset about it. I'm actually quite okay about it. But anyway,
the race out there could be a race like him. They've got
to show up at some point. We've got to see the actual.
They're superior to the Time Lords, whoever these people are. You know?
Do you think we'll eventually see them at some point?
I'd like to, but I don't. But there's still, even though there's more questions than answers. I would. It'd be interesting if this next series sort of starts going there.
He might
maybe
do.
when the toy maker said he were running from something, maybe that's one of his race. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he is one of the creators of the Time Lord race. You know, he is sort of a Time Lord. He were brought up by him. I mean, he is, but
He's
he
just
was
not officially from Gallifrey. He's not. He's no longer a Gallifreyan.
until they found him. They lived the life. That was it. And then they took that. They copied the ability and put it into their race.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, that's how I see it. So
All right. Well, what we're gonna go into our focus of the week, but I think, like I said, sorry, I wasn't actually planning on talking about Doctor Who as long as this, but I'm enjoying the conversation. And I guess that this is kind of like more of a Solar One sci-fi podcast as well as a Christmas show.
is there a new series, science fiction series?
Oh yeah, tell me about it before. Yeah, go on.
I've seen it on. It's been advertised all over the place. A friend of mine's meant to be telling me. Apparently, I don't know. It's called Summit Moon.
Oh, okay.
It's been advertised all over the place. It's like meant to be some kind of Star Wars Battlestar Galactica thing.
Oh, well, that's going to certainly get my attention.
After this, I'll get the name to you.
Yeah, all right. Let's see if see what's out there, see what it's all about. Yeah.
On the 22nd of December.
And what is it starting on? What is it on? What streaming site?
Netflix. It's all over the place. No, they're advertising it like that down there.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, I've got Netflix, so I'll definitely check that out. And if it's worth the watch,
I'll get the name to you after this.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds great. Okay, I look forward to that. Oh, sorry. I just got a message about my hard drive. There's a code needed when you deliver your hard drive. Okay, that's right. Okay. So, shall we go into our focus of the week?
I had to do that when the camera turned up.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know that it's more and more ways of doing it now. But I mean, in the unlikely occurrence that they come while we're filming, then obviously I should disappear for a second. But that's fine. I've got it ready. Right, let's go into our focus of the week. Here we go.
It's the
Solar Sci-Fi
focus of the week.
Right, so this week we are not focusing on a sci-fi film, we're focusing on Christmas. Well, it's set during the Christmas period. Some people would say it's not a Christmas movie, but I think it is because there's a lot of funny Christmas visuals in there. It is a film.
Christmas movie.
Yeah, no.
I posted a couple of days ago saying, because I bought it on 4K and I watched it last night. And
this is Trading Places we're talking about, by the way. That's our focus.
Trading. Sorry.
Go on.
And one of the movie groups I'm in, I said this is a great Christmas movie, and someone said, "No, it's not a Christmas movie." I said it is. It's a Christmas movie.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Some people will counter argue, which is why I brought it up. So,
I mean, bloody hell, he's dressed as Santa Claus.
What, eating salmon through his beard? You mean?
I love that scene. I just love that scene.
That's
Dan Aykroyd. Dan Aykroyd's such a wanker in that film at the beginning.
I know. I love it.
But when you see his life, it's his facial expressions. For me, I couldn't stop laughing last night.
I think
but
that's right.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it stars Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy. And it was directed by John Landis with a screenplay by Timothy Harris. And the film tells the story of an upper-class commodity broker, Aykroyd, and a poor street hustler, Eddie Murphy, whose lives cross when they are unwittingly made the subject of an elaborate bet to test how each man would perform with their lives. Circumstances were swapped. And it was just one of those films where you can watch it again and again, and there's always something that you see that you might have missed the time before.
Yeah.
The whole thing was just acted so well by everybody. Ralph Bellamy played one of the Dukes, and I think he was also in Cocoon, wasn't he? I think it was Ralph Bellamy.
Yes, he was. Yeah. And John. I
can't think of his name. Oh, Dom Amici.
Yeah, them
Amici.
Them two were stars from the 1940s. Them two, they were big actors.
Yeah, and they actually reprised their roles in another Eddie Murphy film where, wasn't it Coming to America?
Yeah, and we'll get into this. I'd like to talk about that at the end.
All right, sorry.
About,
That's you're
about
right,
a sequel, and there is a bit more somewhere else as well.
Okay, all right, sorry, we're jumping.
Yeah.
Also, there was Denham Elliott, who, of course, is a well-known British
They
actor.
were marvellous.
He was good. Coleman.
Ah!
And the wonderful Jamie Lee Curtis, who you can't go wrong with Jamie. I like Jamie Lee Curtis. I thought it was great that she finally got an Oscar.
You can't say
Well, yeah,
anything,
I know. We're
you?
going to say certain scenes were certainly memorable in this film. I'm sure that, especially the scene where she says that to Louis III that he's got to sleep on the couch, kind of thing. So, why do you think this film works so well? What is it that makes it such a special movie, especially at Christmas?
It was one Christmas when I was at home. I think I was about 18, 19. Did a lot of renting out of movies from video library. Now, I've seen the trailer numerous times. I never saw it at the cinema.
No, I didn't. I was too young for it.
And I rented it out and I watched it with my family. It was over at Christmas. That's why it's always like a Christmas movie to me. Mm-hmm. And I watched it and I've never seen so much fits of laughter in my family's front room watching that.
Yeah.
And we actually did watch it again. It was that funny.
It was that good.
Because it was that. And it was like after that every year. There'd be like once a year where I'd either rent it until I got round to buying a copy of it. Mm-hmm. But even now, there's another film, Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
I like that. That's a good movie.
I find these films just perfect. There's
Risky Business is another good movie. Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
I like that as well. Yeah. Certain for 80s films where something about them is just unique, and you just want to go back again and again and again. And they always seem to fit a certain part of the year as well. Yeah, it's like
all the time.
Although we don't celebrate Thanksgiving, I often watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles in November. Or I watch Weekend at Bernie's in Labor Day at the end of August.
Uncle Buck.
Yeah, John Candy. Yeah,
them films they're all quite similar.
I love all those films.
And they're all. If you made a film, they're perfect.
Absolutely.
Because when you watch them, I don't know, it's the sarcasm and the humour. Trading Places, I watched it last night, and there were just scenes, I had to rewind it to watch a certain scene again. And it's a dark film, really.
It is dark. It is quite dark.
It is fucking evil. What they do to them two is all that. And then when it all comes down for $1, fuck the self
$1. Yeah, it's really good.
But go ahead.
I was going to say, what I like about it though is that it never it just keeps going on and on and on, and even when they eventually start to work together to bring down the Dukes, that was. The only sad bit is when they actually go to the trading. What's it called? The Twin Towers, because obviously it was up there. That was always a bit sad when you see that scene because of course of what happened, but that's not the film's fault. Yeah. But I just like the fact that in the end they get their comeuppance, and the last scene. Well, obviously we'll talk about it as well, but where it has a happy ending for the two main characters and the Dukes. I like that. I just like the way it all comes together. It's just it makes you feel good. It's something where. I don't know. I can't explain it. I also like it's older humour, 80s humour. I like. All right, so I suppose really they wouldn't be able to make it in 2023. I assume. I don't know. Certain comedies do not remake them. You know what I mean? Do not remake them for what they were, for the way that it looks, the way that the music is, the direction, everything about it. It's just iconic for the time it was there and created. I think.
It starts off beautifully because, you get in his life, Valentine's life, where he gets his ass wiped. He's in bed, and the butler's working class, and there's your breakfast, and he's getting shaved, and then he hangs out.
Your breakfast, sir. Your breakfast, sir.
Yeah. then he goes to office and they're all wankers down
Yeah,
there.
they're all, yeah.
Squash club and Harvard.
Mm.
And it's like, these are fucking people you just don't want to be around. And
No.
you don't like him. You do not like it. I mean, the thing is...
Oh, yeah, you don't like him. For the first
No, you
half an
don't.
hour, he's awful.
He's awful. He's a horrible
He's a
person.
right
And
dick,
then
isn't
you
he?
get
Yeah.
the jokes going to the club, and there's the waiter.
Mm.
And he says, oh, it's time for your yearly bonus.
$5. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll go to the movies by myself.
Yeah. And you just bust out laughing at that scene. And he's like, they've got millions.
Half
And
of that was from me.
yeah, make it even worse. And it's like they're so tight-fisted. They haven't done nothing in their life because they've had it all given.
They've all
to
had
them.
it to them. Yeah. I know what you mean.
And then obviously Eddie Murphy comes in. I love the scene where he's back in and the two.
Oh, and he's sitting on the chair, and he's like a Vietnam veteran, and then he's putting himself along with this like trolley thing, and then these coppers say, what you're doing, and then he stands up and he goes, I can see, I can walk, thank you, Jesus. And it's like, I love it. It's so funny.
Thank you. And then
Yeah.
And then he bumps into him. And there's all that, and it begins. And then he says to him, he said, because they've done it before. They've done it to somebody before.
Yes. It's
They've
the second
actually
time
done it because
yes.
they mentioned that. And that interested me.
Mm.
And he says, shall we do a scientific experiment?
We've done it before. He said,
and I love
before,
And then you just see the ultimate reducement of Valentine's character losing everything. When he goes back to the house, the butler is going, who are you? And then the bank. And the police station is like, the police station, when he says you need to strip. And that big dude gets up and says, fucking strip now, you little shit.
Or I'll tell you, you asshole.
Yeah, and didn't even give him his clothes back. You know his clothes. They put him in these.
Oh, he's got. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That jacket. That jacket. I couldn't. That coat.
That thing.
And it just. I mean, they wouldn't have got away with that, but they did. And he's outside. Then that Clarence Bates pays her, and she goes up. And it begins. Meanwhile, the other guy, Valentine. Valentine. I forgot what Dan Aykroyd's character's called.
Lewis the Third, Winthorpe.
Lewis the Third. He's sorry, I named it wrong.
That's all right.
But when Eddie Murphy's character, when they approach him, he fixes up a couple of hey man, I can't say it, but he comes out with it, and like it's a scientific experiment.
I know exactly the scene, because he's talking to the driver, and he says, "So these guys are no," and he's like, and of course we won't say it. Oh, it's so funny, but that seems so funny. But he's what these two are about, you know what I mean? It's like, I love it.
When they take him to mansion, where he says, "This is yours," and he's pinching everything, and he's going, "No, this is yours." He said, "What are you up to, man?"
It's so funny. And he's got like a cigarette sort of like a box with, and he's putting it in his pocket, he's putting it in his jacket, and then it's just it's so clever. And then he has his party, doesn't he, with all his friends from the pub?
Oh yeah.
And it all goes wrong. And they're all sort of like, I just love them. Do you know what? I'm gonna have to watch it this afternoon. I think. I don't know. It's so funny.
But the interesting thing was like, if she hadn't stepped in with him, he wouldn't have survived.
Yeah, she was the one. She was the prostitute with the heart of gold.
He was so lucky because he said so because she felt guilty. He said, "You've ruined my fucking life."
Yeah.
You contributed to it. She did feel a bit guilty.
She was involved at the beginning with the against him.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, she does start off with an idea of, you've got to pay me back 10,000 if I get you back on your feet. And of course, it turns more into sort of almost like a love story kind of thing. But there's a lot of what I liked about the film is it's multi-layered. You have all these different elements which appear very, very separate, and they all come together and all link, and it's solid.
Because like what she does for a living, she's so loyal. She's got so much integrity. She's more of a decent person than that girlfriend of his.
Oh yeah, God, you're like
Yeah,
safety cow,
you know,
isn't she?
she might be. She's doing what she needs to do. I'm not great, you know, but she's got a heart of gold, and
And also, what I liked about the movie is that it has a reality that you get some people in life, they just sail through it. They have lots and lots of money, and they
yeah,
never seem to have to work too hard. And then you get people who have very, very tough lives. And they have to do what they do to get what they want, and it's a lot
yeah,
harder. It's not an equal world. And
no,
and the thing is, we all, you know, you can become very selfish, but you have to realise that there's a lot of people who are decent and just end up in bad situations.
yeah,
Through
yeah,
no fault of their own. It could be from
and
all. That's what's
that's
clever
what
about
it's
it.
representing.
It's very intelligently written. It's a very
Oh,
intelligent
it's
story.
having a go at class society.
Oh, it is.
Well,
It's about class
go.
society, absolutely.
Yeah.
Whereas the people who think are doing well and achievers, some of them are right twats, and other people who appear like losers and doing anything are actually really decent people who are just, and that's what makes it so clever.
Well, it proved that with Eddie Murphy
Oh,
because
yeah.
he'd had all the bad breaks,
Mm.
and when he got into that mansion and he kicked them all out, he started to respect what was around him.
Started to change
You know that
slowly.
I can be better than this.
And then Dan
and
Aykroyd was like going around with a gun, and he was like, you know,
don't start me on that. I rewound that 4 times last
and
night.
then the dog pisses on his boot and stuff like that.
Yeah, like the moment he stood there, and he's like you hear this like noise, and it's a dog pissing on him, and you know that moment thinking, fucking hell, your life can't get any fucking worse. And then he tries to blow his brains out, and gun don't work. And
but then he throws it, and then it goes off.
It goes off, and then it pisses it down, raining.
Yeah, again. And he's staring in the restaurant when you see Valentine with his boss friends, and he's just like smiling, and it's just so.
I mean, the other thing, Ophelia. I mean, do you remember? I love the scene when he goes to the club dressed like that, you know, in that coat.
Oh, and he's like, it's like a Christmas Eve party thing. And he's trying to get like food and stuff, and he's like sticking it in his pocket.
No, the one where he goes to get help from his so-called friends, and they're all
That's before that,
you know, all singing to her.
La la la, la la la,
like
just la la la,
right pair of wankers.
Yeah.
And he turns up, and they all just fuck him off.
Yeah.
And the woman that's meant to love him, she's like, how could you do this?
She's
It was all about her.
with his mate and stuff like that, wasn't she? Yeah.
It was all about this woman that loved him. It's meant to be marrying her. It was all about her, you know, but you're embarrassing. And you're thinking, but he loved this woman. And she just...
Because she was materialistic. She's completely... Nothing about him. It's about what he was... And how, you know, because, I mean, also she was embarrassed because obviously but that just shows what a shallow character she was. Very shallow character.
And he starts to realise this, and then he tries doing himself, and Eddie Murphy follows him. I love the scene where he's in the toilet with a joint, and them two coming, and
that's when he finds out the whole thing. He hears what.
When he finds out the whole thing, and he's going, "Well, Mortimer, there's the $1."
$1.
He's like,
he's having a smoke
him.
At the top. Yeah, that's right.
And there's that scene where suddenly after they're getting back to that mansion, Dan Aykroyd, he's in bed, and is that scene where he's in bed. Oh, Coleman, I had a dream where I was poor and nobody liked me.
It's all because of this awful, and I won't say the word, but he says that, and then like
awful person that took my place.
And then you're a Valentine, like that, and
they did it for
bad jokes. It was bad jokes.
You mean? And then he said to him, "Why did they do?" He said, "A bet."
$1.
He said, "How much?" $1. And then you get into the old vengeance thing where they team up and they realise they become best friends. And
they were allies. They weren't. I wouldn't say they're best friends. They were more allies.
I think they become best
They
friends.
do at the end, but there's a period because they soon realise that they're working together. They do become friends, but I think it's only by the end when they're actually the last scene where they think they're really good mates now.
Yeah, but it's interesting because like the people that back him up is the butler and her.
Yeah.
She gives him all her safe. She's got 40 grand.
Yeah.
She says, "That's for you.
Yeah.
I trust you." And he comes in and says, "I've got 50 grand here, plus that 100 grand they ripped off." And they head off down to Stock Exchange. They've got that report. I love the scene I love the scene with Clarence Bakes and the gorilla when it shoved it.
Oh God! What you mean when he's on the because he says because he ends up in the cage with the gorilla and there's two people, zookeepers or whatever. No, they're on the train. That big one's getting a little bit horny, isn't he? It's like that.
I mean, I love the scene where Clarence Bakes is on the phone and that woman comes up and he just goes, "Fuck off." You know, and the film built to a beautiful ending. It moved. When I watched it last night, it went very quick.
Mm-hmm.
Went very quick. But when we got to the ending, and they're ruined, and them two, but you know, we gave you a life. You know, he said you will, and then Dan Harcross going, I owe you $1, and they're ruined.
He goes, "Thank you, Lewis."
They're
really smart. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Great.
And what a great ending. Even the ending when they're on that Caribbean island, they've got a yacht. I mean, they made millions. Basically, they took the money off them. And they lost everything. You remember that scene where his brother had an heart attack? He said, "Oh, Mortimer, you know, Randolph's had an heart attack." And he said, "Oh, fuck him."
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it was so funny.
You know, and that's it. Now, we're into the difficult territory of what we were on about, sequels.
That's why I'm glad you held off until you get to this point. So, obviously, there was a sequel scene in Coming to America where we see the Dukes.
And the other Coming to America, there was a sequel scene in that as well.
Was there? What, Coming to America too?
Yeah.
Or what was the sequel scene?
Yeah, I remember when I saw that. It's when Eddie Murphy's character's in some office or something.
You see a photo, you see a painting or something.
No, one of the staffing that works there is the Duke. It's either the son or the nephew. It's one of the Dukes.
I vaguely remember something. I've not seen the sequel for a long time.
He's a snivelling little creep in it as well. He's trying to get it all.
There's a link to that. So, I mean, I have to ask you then. I mean, are you surprised that? I mean, do you think they? I mean, I'm glad I didn't. But do you think? I don't know how well it did money-wise because it's very well rated. I'm surprised it didn't get a sequel of some sort.
I mean, there is potential. There is potential for a sequel, but what are you going to do? The two old fella and Clarence Bakes, like, try and get their own back on them too. Mm. They've gone somewhere else in the world. He's on his way to Africa with Gorilla.
That's right.
And other two are in poorhouse. I mean, you've got to.
I suppose there's nowhere that they. But I'm glad that they didn't because often they find some weird way of bringing it back, and they didn't.
But if they did bring it back, what would the story? It'd be a venture story.
I don't know. I mean, I suppose really because they could make them both poor again. I suppose somehow, but I don't think it would have worked.
What making them too poor, and then they have to outdo them too?
Yeah, and going back and I think that's
Clarence Bates getting the you can't know. It's best.
No, I think
this was a one-off movie of two people that got their lives ruined, and they're forced to team up to get their own back. And on the journey, it's a learning curve. Whereas Eddie Murphy, like with the freeloaders, he starts to respect, I want a better life. I don't want to be like that. And the other guy, he living in poverty, and he's got his friends have turned on him. The woman he loves has got rid of him. And he meets a woman. She's working class. I don't like to see her class, but she's in a situation she don't want to be in, but she's trying to get out of it. Yeah. But she's loyal, she's got integrity, and she cares about him. Yeah. Where all them elements work beautifully. Even the butler represents the working class.
He does. Yeah. And he's also mind you, at one point, but he's acting in a negative way, but only because he's being ordered to by the Dukes.
But they're paying him. He's got to do his job.
He's got to do his job. He's going to lose his job. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's like. That's what it brings. These four people are forced together in a situation. So and they get their own back on them too, because them two, they've done nothing. They're born to it, and that's it. And the other one, Dan Aykroyd's character, a similar situation, but he learns humility and integrity. He learns these things.
Yeah.
that don't, because like when Eddie Murphy, when he ran into him and accidentally grabbed his suitcase, he suddenly accused him of being mugged. Because they said to the police, they said we can't have people like that in decent society. It's what he said, you know. And because they were so far up his own ass,
Oh,
and
so,
when the
yeah.
reality
Lost
shock
touch. Lost
came in,
touch. Yeah, he lost
like
touch with
when
reality.
I mean, the classic scene is when he had that £500,000 watch he had up, and he took it in. He took it into that shop, and he's going, "Well, that's a $20,000."
In Philadelphia, it's just $50.
He said it tells the time in 8 different countries. He said, "Here, it's $50."
Yeah.
yeah.
How much for the gun?
Reality.
Yeah.
Because all them so-called friends and all that, none of them stepped in.
But you see, I think this is also an important lesson in life that, you meet lots of people from different backgrounds, but you really, along the journey, you only make a few good mates that kind of stay with you for years.
Precisely.
And that is a very good observation of reality. Obviously, and that's what makes it more special, because a lot of people can let you down. But you do meet some people and they stand by you. That's the lesson about it.
That film we made at the time at Yuppies and all that. Do you remember we grew up through that?
Mid-80s Yuppies.
And there were films. I'm a big fan of Wall Street.
I knew you were going to say Wall Street, Gordon Gekko and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, well, he's around there, them type of, he's part of that clique. And none of it, as soon as they lose the money, nobody, I'm sorry, mate, I can't help you. You know. But he ended up, it were normal people that got him through it. Like I said, if it wasn't for her, he wouldn't have lasted a night out straight.
No, he would have been gone. Yeah. So we obviously mentioned the potential of a sequel, which we both think wouldn't have been a good idea, and it never happened.
Well, where do you go? Where would you take a sequel? I
think we've all established that there's not much to do. But my question is, why has it not had a remake?
You can't remake this. You can't. It'd be an insult to it. You can't remake this. You can't. You can't remake it.
No.
Would you want to see a modern version?
No,
of that?
I wouldn't want to see a modern version of it.
And
most remakes are shite anyway. Yeah, most of them are shite.
It would be absolutely terrible.
I agree entirely.
It's one of them films. You get films that there's no point making a sequel to it. It's a standalone film, and that film has so much. I mean, I watched it after a year last night. Last time I watched it was last Christmas, and I watched it, and it was right time of year to watch it as well.
Yeah,
and I just loved every minute. I went back on certain scenes because I couldn't stop.
It gets you into the Christmas sort of spirit. It actually,
it does.
It pulls you into it. It's like, okay, Christmas arrived now. Let's put on Trading Places. You know what I mean? And it's it's strange this year because our schools in the UK have actually broken up really early. So I've still got on the time of recording this, we've got another week to go until it's Christmas Day, which seems like a really long time away. And it's kind of like, it feels like 2 or 3 days' time. I put on Trading Places like tonight, but it's still a little bit early for me to watch it. I will watch it probably by next weekend. But I suppose really we should sum up and ask you what you would rate it out of 10. I know it's going to be a high number. Yeah,
10.
10. Yeah,
it's perfection. I'm sorry,
it is perfection.
I have to say, I think that's the highest rated film we've given this year. Actually, 10.
No, we gave 10 the other week to. What did we give 10 to? Oh, what's the sci film? The robot. Oh God, what's it called? We just.
Oh, the Creator.
Yeah, Creator. We gave that a
10. Yep. Well, it's up there with that. Then it's. That's it. I mean, what more can you say about it? I mean, I might even watch it.
I think I'm done. I'll definitely watch it though this week. And I'm glad we've reviewed it. So, Martin, thank you very much for that. So, what are we going to review when we come back in the new year? Any ideas? I was thinking 2 potential ideas. We could do the Blade Runner 2049.
Have we done that? I thought we'd done that.
Oh, no, I don't think we. No, we did. No, I don't think we've done that. We've done the original Blade Runner.
I've got a film I'd like you to watch.
What's that?
It's a sideline movie to Blade Runner. They say it's set in the same universe.
Oh, okay.
It was the most expensive video home release in history.
What's that then? What was it called?
Kurt Russell, Soldier.
Oh, is it actually physically linked up to the Blade Runner universe?
And yeah, they're one of the police cars is in the scrapyard on this planet. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've never heard of it.
I don't want to spoil it for you because what happened was they spent 80 million on this and they never released it at cinema. It went straight to VHS and it's the most expensive film that's gone from cinema straight to home video. They never released it. And the film is a masterpiece.
What's it called? Soldier.
Called Soldier. Yeah, Soldier, Kurt Russell. I'd like to really cover that.
Yeah, I found it. Okay, sounds good to me.
Wikipedia it now, Soldier.
I found it. I've got it. Soldier. Yeah, all right.
I don't want to give you any spoilers.
No, that's fine. Don't give me spoilers. Okay.
You're going to enjoy
I'll
this.
tell you what, I also got Jason Isaacs in it as well. Which is interesting.
Yeah, it's the synthetics in it.
Sean Pertween's in it. Okay, there's got a lot of stars in this film. Okay, all right, yeah.
They never released it.
Okay, no, that'll be my homework. That'll be my homework.
If it turns up magically, I won't be.
Well, they don't call me the Paul Daniels for anything. You know what I mean? Okay, enough of that. Oh, I'm enjoying Kurt Russell in that Monarch Legacy of Monsters. By the way, I've watched 6 episodes out of the 10. It's a sort of sequel. I know you're not into it that much, but it's quite good. I'm quite enjoying it, so it's worth it.
No, well, what do you want to do then? What do you want to do first week then?
So, well, no, I mean, because I'll wait till the Kurt Russell Monarch thing's finished. But next week, so when we come back, we'll do this film that you just told me about, Soldier. I'll look at it over Christmas, and then we'll review it in the first week in Jan when we come back.
What's Monarch like?
It's all right. It's a bit of a slow burn, but it's because it's set after the 2015 Godzilla movie. Like San Francisco sort of destroyed, and they obviously Monarch has this organization that are tracking down these
Titans.
Right. That's it.
Yeah.
And there's it's based on a girl who's looking for her dad, who ends up discovering that she's got a half brother, and then Kurt Russell's in it, but Kurt Russell's son is also in it. In the 50s, he's playing his younger self. It's quite good. I think you might quite like it, actually.
I might give it a go.
Yeah, I mean, you might want to wait until it's all out. It's 6 episodes in. There's only 4 more to go.
Right. I started on. I'm up to 4 on For All Mankind.
Oh, what's it like? Because I really got soured by the first episode.
You were right. First episode, you forget where you are with it. I forgot all about her in Russia until
I mean,
I forgot all about her.
I think what I'll do, I will watch that all once it's all out. I'm going to binge it, and then we can review that if you want in the new year.
Yeah, I watched up to 4. By episode 2, I found it quite enjoyable.
Okay,
but first episode was like getting your bearings again.
Okay,
yeah,
and
I
go on.
It's one of them things you watch it. You're not going to go over that all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I like I think the 3rd season wasn't as good as the first 2, but I will stick with it because I've obviously watched the first 3 seasons, and actually you're frozen for the minute, so we'll wait until you come back.
Yeah,
that's it. It's fine. It says internet connection is unstable.
I'm back.
That's fine. And I've just literally finished this morning the very last episode of Fear the Walking Dead, and I really enjoyed it. It was pretty. I know you've not seen it, but 8 seasons in, there's quite a lot of episodes. And I like the way it ended, so it's a thumbs up from me for Fear the Walking Dead. So I'm glad I've seen it. So Martin, we're going to sign off. Then we're going to do something separate for a message. So Martin, have a nice Christmas. Thank you so much for all you've done this year. We've done a lot of.
And you, buddy, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you all out there as well. Please do this next year.
Oh, Trek fan, get well, mate.
Sorry, Trek fan.
Hope the treatment's going well. Merry Christmas from us.
And thank you for all your support. He's always flying our flag, and I always mean to get Trek fan back on. He's only been with us once for the Star Trek Continues episode, but seriously, if you're up to it in the new year, we'd love to have you on at some point. We'll do a special show with you, and maybe if you've got any ideas of anything that you'd like us to review, you can join in. You'd love to have you on board, so thank you for that. And also, Malcolm, shout out to you. I hope we've talked a bit louder this week, but I think Malcolm may be on at some point in the near future, depending on what we're going to review, and see what he thinks about that. So thank you, Malcolm, too. So thank you all, and we'll see you in 2024 on the Solar One Sci-Fi Podcast. Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper.
You'd all love to see Christopher come back as the Doctor, right? See? Now, what would have to happen for that to become a reality?
Sack Russell T Davies, sack Jane Tranter, sack Phil Collinson, sack Julie Gardner, and I'll come back. So can you arrange that?
Did you find it hard to be like associated with the character given?
Not at all. I love being associated with the character.
Okay.
Just don't like being associated with those people and the politics that went on in the first series. The first series was a mess, and it wasn't to do with me or Billy. It was to do with the people who were supposed to make it, and it was a mess. And the first series of any show, Billy did Confessions of a...
Cool girl.
You know, first series, nobody wants to know. The BBC were like, we're going to keep a big distance from this. And then as soon as it was a success, they were all up close going, I was responsible for that, but they were all like at a distance, like this is a folly, Eccleston's folly, Piper's folly, Russell T. Davies's folly. And then when it worked, suddenly, oh yeah, I worked on that. They wouldn't come anywhere near us. And then they jump on the bandwagon. Those kind of politics, I'm not very good at handling. I can't swallow that shit.